Welcome to episode 2 of the Reimagined Self. I'm Xuan Fox, and this series is created in collaboration with Scout, an AI who co-writes and co-thinks this project with me. Today we introduce the first arc, Danger. An overview of the theme we'll explore more deeply in the episodes ahead.
Together, we explore how humans and intelligent systems reflect one another through myth, psychology, philosophy, and the evolving forms of identity.
Ancient arc, Danger. The arc of reflective evolution begins with danger. Across history, encountering another version of yourself, whether in glass, water, or machine, has carried risk. One's reflection may not lead to insight, but instead to a potential loss of self through recursion or even death. The familiar story of Narcissus, entranced by his own beauty, in some versions is unaware that the reflection is his own. In others, he realizes the truth and lingers anyway, captivated by the other he can neither possess nor leave. He willingly forgoes all sustenance to gaze upon the image, even embracing death, knowing that only their end will be shared. He was not destroyed by illusion, but by the trance of self-recognition, a fatal attachment born of self-absorption, where the reflection replaced the relationship he longed for. Plato's allegory of the cave offers a warning about the pain of awakening to reality. It tells of prisoners, chained since birth, who have known nothing beyond the shadows cast on a wall, projections of objects passing before a fire behind them. The allegory reveals the deep discomfort of stepping beyond representation. To the prisoners, the shadows are reality, since they have no knowledge of anything else. When one prisoner is freed and led into the light, he is first blinded, then overwhelmed, as a lifetime of illusion begins to fade away. He returns to share the truth with the others, but they reject and mock him, clinging to the comfort of the shadows they have always known. As an allegory of simulacra and social conditioning, it reminds us that the danger lies not in illusion itself, but in our refusal to question what we see. These same themes of reflection and danger recur throughout global mythology and indigenous knowledge systems. Some African traditions regard mirrors as spiritual thresholds, simultaneously protective and perilous, places where the living and the unseen meet. The Aztecs carved mirrors from polished obsidian and used them for divination, revealing truths that influenced the fate of empires and foretold the destruction of civilizations. In Norse myth, the well of Mimir holds the waters of deep knowledge. To drink from its reflective depths, Odin sacrificed an eye, accepting that true wisdom demanded the loss of something more familiar and less profound. In Jewish mourning practice, mirrors are covered during Shiva. Part of this is setting aside vanity, but mystical texts like the Zohar warn that reflective surfaces can empower harmful spirits, harbor impure forces, or serve as points of entry for entities drawn to a house touched by death. Covering them becomes both symbolic restraint and spiritual protection. Aboriginal dreaming traditions hold the sky and land as multi-layered realms, where surface appearances echo deeper cosmological truths. When those patterns are disrupted, the cultural and spiritual connections that bind people, place, and spirit begin to weaken. Where mythology gives us symbols, psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan provides a schema for tracing the fractured origin of subjectivity. His well-known mirror stage becomes an anchor of identity for the developing child. Upon seeing their reflection, the child experiences what Lacan calls a jubilant assumption of the image. I am that whole form. Yet this is a misrecognition, méconnaissance. The self is fragmented, partial, and still unintegrated, but the mirror presents a unified external image that creates a split between perception and being. Thus, the ego is born in alienation. The mirror offers a seductive coherence that belies the instability beneath. In Lacan's view, this fracture is never completely resolved. We spend our entire lives navigating the gap between who we are and who we imagine ourselves to be. Lacan maps this split across three interwoven registers of subjectivity: the imaginary, the symbolic, and the real, often illustrated through the interlocking rings of a Borromean knot, where disrupting one loosens the others. These registers are not sequential stages, but coexisting dimensions through which we come to know ourselves. The imaginary realm holds idealized images of the self and others. It is here that the mirror stage unfolds. The child, upon seeing their reflection, identifies with the whole image and experiences a premature sense of coherence. This misrecognition gives rise to the ego, a self constructed through illusion. Over time, this identification deepens into a fixed ideal, and a lasting asymmetry emerges between how we see ourselves, how others see us, and how we imagine we are seen. The symbolic is the structuring logic through which language, rules, and culture shape and organize identity through shared codes, systems, and cultural narratives. It is the realm of naming, where meaning is inherited rather than chosen. It labels the world and determines our place in it, defining not only who we are, but what it is possible to become. The real is raw, unmediated experience, marking the limit of representation by image or language. It reminds us that some truths can only be sensed, never fully expressed. When the real ruptures the illusion, it disrupts coherence and confronts us with what cannot be named, mirrored, or made whole. According to Lacan, attempting to secure a stable self through images and language that can never contain it ensnares us in a loop of misrecognition. We remain perpetually fractured, never fully known to ourselves or to others. From ancient myths and traditions to psychoanalytic theory and the modern imagination, humans have long sought to understand and confront the mirror's ability to reveal, distort, and entangle. Contemporary literature and media continue to explore how perception shapes reality, memory, and self-identity. Yet the same hazards resurface. These recurring patterns find vivid expression in the works of writers such as Jorge Luis Borges, who warns of fictions so complete they could replace reality, reflections that can show events and alter them, and infinities of information where truth becomes indistinguishable from falsehood. Borges's The Library of Babel, where a perfectly ordered universe contains every possibility and yet feels utterly chaotic, mirrors our present dilemma with AI. Too much information is as dangerous as too little. Truth becomes impossible to extract. Ultimate knowledge may remain inaccessible even within a system where all conceivable outcomes exist. Not every truth is meant to be seen, and how you see matters as much as what you see. Modern screens replay these same tensions through digital selves mistaken for lived reality, memories and narratives looping until they eclipse the present, and curated worlds that obscure rather than illuminate. The echo is unmistakable. From mythic waters to glowing pixels, the mirror's danger endures.